Phil Towler, 19, England.
I'm Julia, I'm 21, I'm from Upplands Väsby, Sweden.
I'm Grace Tech, I'm from Australia, I'm 21 years old.
My name's Laura Nagel, I'm 20 years old and I'm from Napier, New Zealand.
Hi, I'm Melina Toman, I'm 20 years old. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and this past winter I spent a lot of time in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates where my brother lived.
Where do you get your food in the United States?
Mostly from the local grocery store, and I eat on campus at the cafeteria.
Where do you get your food at home?
Same again, I eat at the grocery store, although my mum does that.
What is your favorite memory with food?
Probably the first date with my girlfriend.
And what did you order?
Bolognese.
Where is your favorite food from?
I like a lot of pasta and things like that, so Italy I'd say.
How does your relationship with food differ in the United States as opposed to at home?
I think I definitely eat a lot more here than I do at home. Maybe because of how easy it is to just walk to the on-campus cafeteria, but maybe because people here eat more. I don't know.
Do you find stereotypes about Americans' food consumption to be true?
Not particularly here at Providence, but I know in the South they eat a lot more. Yeah, I guess that down there they're a lot fatter.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you a fact, and if you could just tell me your reaction to that fact, that'd be great.
Okay.
It can take up to 2 weeks for produce imported outside the United States to reach your grocery store. Following harvest, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants in produce have been shown to decrease substantially during storage, shipping, and grocery stores.
Wow, that's crazy.
Where do you get your food in Sweden?
Mostly from like the grocery store sometimes, especially in the summer. They sell a lot of like strawberries. There's a lot of local people selling strawberries outside, like their own homegrown.
Where do you get your food in the United States?
This is grocery store, Stop and Shop.
Does it matter what kind of food you get, like locally or industrialized?
Honestly, I don't pay attention.
Okay, what is your favorite memory with food?
Probably when I was like 8, my grandmother had me and like 4 of my cousins over, and she created this thing she called cooking camp, and taught us how to cook things she thought was important. And then the last day we had to cook Thanksgiving dinner, and it took me like 4 years to ever eat stuffing again because I thought it was disgusting.
So what's your favorite meal?
Probably Swedish meatballs and mashed potatoes.
Do you know how they're made?
Yeah, my mom makes them though, from scratch.
Has your relationship with food changed since you've been in the United States?
Not drastically. I think the biggest difference is in Sweden I eat a lot more frequently. Like it's called fika. Like every time you go somewhere, like you eat a snack. Like literally I feel like I eat nonstop in Sweden, but it's a lot of smaller portions but more frequently than here. It's like 3 large meals more often than that.
Okay, so now I'm going to read you a fact from the internet, and if you could just tell me your reactions to it. Did you know that Poliquin, the world leader in strength and health education, records records that there is a whopping 72 million obese adults in the United States today? Additionally, the average American eats 200 grams of sugar a day, the equivalent of a cup of sugar. Does this surprise you?
No, I feel like I've heard lots of statistics about people being obese, so it's gross, but it's not shocking, I guess.
Where do you get your food at home?
Usually I go to the supermarket, but my parents also go down to a market every Saturday and Sunday morning, so we get fresh produce.
What about in the United States?
Well, I just go to Ray Cafeteria, so wherever they get their food from.
Do you have any idea where Ray gets their food from?
No idea.
Would it make a difference if you knew?
Yeah, probably. I kind of stay away from all the meat in Ray Cafeteria because I find it quite questionable half the time. So.
What is your favorite memory with food?
I think I like Christmas Day only because that just brings back memories of family and eating lots of good food.
What's your favorite meal?
My dad's spaghetti bolognese is top notch.
Yeah. Where is your favorite food from? Like the ingredients, do you get it at the store?
Yeah, usually at the store. We buy, fresh meat at the butcher. Yeah.
How has your relationship with food changed while living in the United States?
Well, basically just when I was at home, my parents were cooking my meals for me, and you only had one meal, so whatever was cooked, that's what you ate. But here at Ray Cafeteria, and I find that you can go back numerous times and keep eating more than normal, I guess. And I mean, when you go out to eat, there's not much difference between Australia and America, food-wise, but just, having a home-cooked meal versus going to Ray and getting whatever they have on the day.
Okay, so now I'm going to read you a fact, and tell me if that changes your opinions or shocks you or anything.
Alright.
So, did you know that according to Poliquin, the world leader in strength and health education, that they record records that there is a whopping 72 million obese adults in the United States today. Additionally, the average American consumes 200 grams of sugar a day, the equivalent of a cup of sugar. Does this shock you?
Not really. I don't know, I just, I guess with the availability of fast food and, the cheap nature of it, I think that adds to a lot of, problems with the obesity in America. But having said that, Australia is just as bad when it comes to obesity. I think we're not that much far off the American scale.
Where do you get your food?
I usually get my food either from the cafeteria here, or I'll actually go to the supermarket and buy a few things to cook foods that I suppose remind me of home, or that it's like convenient to prepare.
Where do you predominantly get your food while you're at home?
Well, like home here?
No, at home, like
home. Okay,
New
right.
Zealand home.
Usually usually we get it from like the supermarket and everything, just because food is a lot more expensive at home, but in saying that, it's a lot better quality, I find. There's obviously the occasional times we'll eat out, but we don't necessarily eat out anywhere near as much as Americans do.
What is your favorite memory with food?
I don't necessarily have one specific type of memory, but I think just having good meals that have been prepared with, I suppose, care, like from my mum, or say going to restaurants and actually like having nice food. Not kind of restaurants that are just all about the profit, just more ones that are like, they have that, they like to prepare their own food, and it's a lot more cultural, kind of.
What is your favorite meal?
I like all food and every food, so favourite meal is a bit difficult, but being an athlete, I think any kind of pasta dish is always good. I love that kind of stuff. And definitely steak. I'm a big red meat eater, so steak is always really good.
Do you consider yourself a healthy eater?
Yeah, definitely. Even though I don't feel like I need to be, but just because of me being an athlete as well and everything, but I always feel a lot better when I'm eating healthy, and I like to have a wide variety of foods. Just, I know I've always been that way. My mum's brought me up to be that way. I've learnt things through school that way, so yeah.
How does your relationship with food differ in the United States as opposed to in New Zealand?
Obviously being away from home and not having my mum cook everything has changed a few things. Like, I've appreciated good home-cooked meals a lot more now. And I find here the food it's a lot different, especially, like, I've listened to a few documentaries and whatnot and how a lot of food is like, corn-based. At home, you don't really find that as much, and I feel like it's a lot healthier, a lot better quality of food, and not so much sugar and everything.
Okay, so now I'm going to read you a statistic in the United States, and just tell me your reaction and the conclusion. So it can take up to 2 weeks for produce imported outside the United States to reach your grocery store. Following harvest, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants in produce have been shown to radically decrease substanticity during storage, shipping, and grocery store display periods. So basically this is saying that it takes 2 weeks on average, for us to ship and import food from outside the country or even within the country, and during that time we're losing all the nutritional value.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's why, I mean, obviously everyone is more about getting food locally these days, because obviously the longer food is left, or like, say, for example, vegetables, as soon as you take it out of the ground, they're obviously going to deteriorate with nutritional value, so I'm not surprised with that. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. They just think that it'll, like, any kind of, say, healthy vegetable is going to have the same quality as, like, one that was just picked from the garden or one that's, I don't know, 2 weeks old, so, yeah.
So while in Abu Dhabi, where did you get the majority of your food?
There was a couple like local markets. There was like one bigger grocery store which sort of had like normal things, and then because pork is against the Muslim religion, pork isn't in any of the grocery stores, so you have to go to like a specialty store for that. So if you're from like America or Britain, or you aren't Muslim, you can buy pork, but you have to go. It's like not like a forbidden place, but it's like it's a lot harder to get, because we made like a pork roast one night, and I mean we just had to go somewhere else. But the majority, there's like a really large fish market right down by the water, and that's where a ton of like the seafood comes from. And other than that, there's like corner markets or like grocery stores, and then there's one like main grocery store where we went, and the food was normal.
What was the majority of food that you saw there?
There was some like weird, I mean obviously there was some kind of like weirder food, but there was, I mean there was a lot of Arab food. They had, what was it called? Shawarma is what they had, and they had like falafel and stuff like that, but they don't really know their culture, so it's kind of everything. Like there's a lot of, I mean there's still like a ton of fast food chains, and there's like normal food, and because we cooked, like we didn't go out a lot, we cooked, and that made it easier to eat and be there, I guess.
Do you think it's extremely different from the way that Americans eat and consume and purchase food?
The way we purchase food was the same. I was sort of surprised by it, because a lot of what we ate there, like, we have here in the United States. I mean, there were a lot of, like, some odder things, but we didn't spend a lot of time with, like, a Muslim family or anything, so I didn't get to experience how they eat and what their practices are, but the majority of the people who live in the country are, like, really wealthy, and so I'm sure they eat a lot better than what we ate.